All right, guys, we are back, and I mean we are all back. We got a full house today, and we got a couple of tremendous guests that are going to be on our show. We got Phil Tzang, the food blogger from Las Vegas. This guy knows every restaurant there is out there. And I got my main man, Kenny Fromm from Fromm Tours, who's going to come on our show a little bit later on. Anybody that knows the casino business, nobody has the insights when it comes to cruises and casinos like Kenny. And we're going to talk a lot about different things that these guys have to offer. Again, I'm joined by my main man, the one and only CEO of the Sports Profits, Teddy Brooks. What's up, Teddy? It's been a bit.
Good to be back. I missed you guys last week.
You were out. I was out.
Oh, you weren't here either?
No, I was here last week.
Okay, yeah, you were out the week before. I had to take your hosting gig.
You were a great maitre d', I heard you.
People have been saying, we have a QB controversy.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, we're going to have to battle to see who becomes number one this year. And, of course, the one and only Tommy D, the big kahuna of OSB.
Lone survivor.
The lone survivor. I don't know. I went to Vegas with this guy. He ran me ragged for 2 or 3 days.
Listen,
I came home sick for 10 days.
Take vitamins every day. It helps.
And I'll tell you, we got a great show today. I'm excited about talking to these guests of ours.
Definitely.
Especially, we got the food critic. Well, not even food critic, the food blogger. And this guy knows every restaurant there is. I'll tell you, I'm a guy that's gone to Vegas probably about 400 times in my lifetime, but I normally eat inside the hotels. I don't really eat outside, so I'm going to be excited to talk to him in a couple of minutes about that. And again, like I said, Kenny Fromm, definitely the guy I want to talk to when it comes to casinos and trips and cruises and stuff like that. What's on your mind? Anything going on?
Oh, I have a lot on my mind. Probably should save it till after our guests come on because I want to talk about the state of... Did you guys talk about the state of Florida last week and all the stuff they're doing?
Regarding
DFS and all that?
There's a lot of stuff going on. They're still trying to knock out the Hard Rock.
We'll save it for after our great guests.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, Ben, if you can, I would like to get Phil on the show right now, if it's possible, and love to see what's on his mind out there with the food and all the different restaurants. I think it's going to be interesting. There he is. What's going on, Phil?
What's up? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I hear you from my old neck of the woods there from Mass, so you and I will get along just well, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Love talking to any fellow Masshole and Boston sports fan anytime I can.
Hey, let me ask you a question. How long have you been a food blogger for, I guess, in the state of Nevada? Is that's your hub, correct? Nevada only?
Well, no, I basically cover anywhere I travel to. So, I mean, the name is just, my handle is Las Vegas Phil, Fill.
Okay.
But it's just because I live here primarily. But if I go anywhere, if I go back to Boston or LA or wherever, I'll usually line up some restaurants to shoot at and to kind of make a post on.
So you'll do it anywhere, kind of where you're at, kind of that kind of thing? Okay.
Totally.
Cool. How long have you been in it?
So I've been on social media taking it seriously since 2017. And before that, I was actually kind of Yelp famous in Vegas for my reviews.
Okay.
And then that kind of led into social media around 2017 and just kind of staying consistent with it, putting up posts nearly every day for the last, God, what is it now? 7 years.
Well,
and it's been an interesting journey. It's been really fun.
Give us a little education on exactly like what a day is for yourself. I mean, what is it exactly you're doing? I guess you're trying to help the people that are coming into Nevada to give them suggestions as far as eating places in the casinos and outside in the local areas. Is that kind of the thing you're doing?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, primarily for me, day to day, I do run social media for about 15 great restaurants in Las Vegas. So it's a lot of dealing with restaurants and shooting video and all that kind of stuff. And then also handling my own accounts on IG, TikTok, and YouTube, whether it's setting up shoots at restaurants for my own posts or setting up brand deals for bigger clients like Fleming Steakhouse or Texas Day Brazil or something like that, or the Raiders.
Okay.
And trying to working out some really cool and unique partnerships that are just part of Vegas.
So basically, are people DMing you and asking you your advice on places like from the price points to the quality? I mean, all different walks, I guess, of life are asking you.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of tourists that are coming in a couple of weeks want to get a better idea of certain restaurants. A lot of times they'll just ask me if you had these two to choose from, which one would you choose from and why? And since the pandemic, my audience is really skewed towards more of a male audience. So it's a lot of guys just trying to take girls out on dates and trying to figure out where to take them.
Yeah, it sounds like my son last night. He says, Dad, do you mind if he's only 16 years old. He's like, Dad, do you mind if I take my girlfriend to NYY Steakhouse? I looked at him like about 3 times. I hope he got the message. I don't think he should be spending $300 to take his girl out to NYY Steakhouse.
Sure,
so,
no way.
Yeah.
So wait, I'd pause everything.
Yeah.
Your son's girl got the NYY trip before you did. That's
right. She didn't get it yet. He's talking about doing it next week.
Okay.
But he's asking me, and I'm like, come on now, get a job.
You start with NYY. What's the next level, though? So he should start low.
Exactly.
He should start low.
That's a bad starting line.
Yeah, I mean...
Now, how many different restaurants are you? I'm just trying to get clear on this. How many different are you physically going into each and every one of these places and checking out their menu and eating in these restaurants on a daily basis, or is it every few days? I mean, how does it all work? Like your whole concept?
Yeah. So the best thing about Vegas is it's just basically like the Olympics of restaurants, and it's so concentrated within such a small area that my wife and I go out to eat at least 5 times a week. 7 times is not unusual. And yeah, I shoot everything on my phone, just my phone and a handheld light. I edit everything on my phone. I do the voiceover on my phone, and then I just post it up.
Well, I got to ask you this. I'm a casino guy. Kenny is going to come on our show a little later. He's been probably in every casino there is. When I go to Vegas, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm like a hermit. I just kind of stay in the hotels because, the restaurants in the hotels are so good, and the ones I stay at, I really don't branch out. But if you had to rate, like, the top casino restaurants, from your opinion, obviously, from doing his profession, which ones would you rate as the top ones that you've had the pleasure of eating at this point? Because I'm talking about, the main strip casino ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would go with Venetian Palazzo, probably number 1, just on the sheer variety and price points. You really can't compare it to anywhere else. And like you said before, I mean, you're comfortable with where you're staying, and there's just so many options. You don't want to leave the place, and that's kind of what they want you to do.
Yeah, of course.
And,
they want
they
you in that hotel.
Job doing that. I mean, I probably wouldn't leave Venetian Palazzo either, to be honest.
Now, when you say Venetian Palazzo, there's a lot of different restaurants. Do you have like a favorite, like top 1 or 2 in the Venetian or Palazzo that you consider your best of the best?
I love Mott 32. It's a super high-end Chinese restaurant inside a Palazzo.
Okay.
Inside is kind of like if the Great Gatsby had a house in Hong Kong. It's super elaborate and nice, and the Peking duck is the best version in Vegas and my favorite one.
Okay.
Another one I really like, a New York Transplant, Smith & Wollensky, is a really solid place, great for a big group, and they got awesome private dining rooms there. I like that place a lot too.
Okay. I mean, I'm a big Wynn guy, Encore and Wynn guy. Anything you recommend in there? Any of the restaurants have you checked?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, one thing I love about Wynn is that there's just a certain bar, a certain level of quality that pretty much every restaurant has across the board. I mean, no matter which one you go to, you're in for a good time and a certain quality of food. Certain places that I love, you can't go wrong with SW Steakhouse.
There you go. You just hit the nail on the head.
Waterfall and all that stuff. It's just so Vegas.
You know what's great too? Not to cut you up, but you know what's great too? Yeah. I mean, that Akumi restaurant, the hibachi, type of restaurant in the Wynn is a really cool place too, with the waterfall, and the food is excellent. High-end hibachi restaurant there called the Akumi, I believe.
Yep, that's an awesome place too. I love Delilah. Such a crazy, unique spot to Vegas, and then Wing Lei for high-end Chinese. I'm kind of a snob that way with with high-end stuff, so that's usually what I prefer if I'm heading to the Strip.
So Phil, I have a question for you. First of all, your wife must love it. You said you guys sometimes eat out 7 times a week, so you're taking a lot of the burden off her with not having to do a lot of
Not
work
cooking?
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Sure.
But how many, like, first of all, do you actually rate places with numbers, or do you just talk about them and post pictures and that kind of thing?
So usually what I do is I like to focus on the things that I liked the most about the restaurant, and whether it's just one or two dishes, that's usually what I do for a post. Or if I want to talk about the entire experience, I can do that too. But I don't really rate it 1 through 10.
Okay, you're not Dave Portnoy over here.
No, I don't do any of that. So being a critic, being critical, and really for social media, I'm generally not. If I do have a bad experience at a restaurant, and sometimes it happens, unfortunately, I'll just tell them straight up what I didn't like and why I'm not posting.
And then when you do make a post about a restaurant, do you typically go more than once, or do you order a lot of stuff and maybe taste a little bit of everything? Or do you just have one meal, or you and your wife get one meal each and that's all you talk about?
Yeah, Tim and his wife.
So most of the time, the restaurant it's all kind of pre-set up. So they know I'm coming in. So I do all the shots in the kitchen and things like that. So usually I have an idea of like 2 or 3 dishes I definitely are interested in featuring. And then sometimes they'll just bring out a bunch of other things for us to try anyway.
Little tasting menu. Very cool.
How about buffets, Phil? Do you dabble in that?
I don't really. I'm kind of not a buffet guy. We haven't been to a casino buffet probably since before the pandemic. And
well, let me tell you a quick story, Phil. When I was out in Vegas with Big Kahuna recently, he was hounding me to take him to that Caesars buffet. I kept the whole time we were out there. Was worrying about that Caesars buffet. I don't know.
I'm told Caesars and Wynn is 1 and 2 out there as far as buffets, but we're talking like $80 a person, and they're like seafood, prime rib, sushi across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Wynn and Wynn and Caesars would be the top 2 for sure. I don't think you can top that amount of variety. But honestly, the craziest one in town is at the Palms. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, they do all-you-can-eat lobster.
Oh my God!
And it's $65 a person, but the wait is unreal. It's like 2+ hours. To get in there.
I think Kenny and I know, we're old school guys, but I think Kenny and I know about the $2.99 or $3 steak you could eat back in Vegas. They used to have the bulletin boards that you could have these big steaks for $2.99. I mean, it's come a long way since then. So yeah, a lot of. Let me ask you, on the outskirts of Vegas, because like I said, we don't get out that often. We're kind of locked into the big casinos and stay around the Strip area. But on the outskirts, you have any favorite selections? Places for people that are, might come into town that don't want to spend that kind of money to go to these big, casinos and spend a $400, $500, $600 dinner. Anything you're recommending, in the local areas, places?
Absolutely. There's just a plethora of amazing restaurants off the Strip. A lot of the successful chefs that had great restaurants on the Strip, when their time is done with that, they kind of move off the Strip and open up a great place that's like half the price. So if we're talking super high-end stuff, I mean, Partage is like a modern French dining restaurant, and that would be like a Michelin star restaurant.
Now, do you have this up on your website or something where people could see it? Like follow our show before you go off, when we're done with you, we want you to obviously give our audience where they can find you and the things that, you're recommending. So you do have a list of all the places you've, recommend to people coming into Vegas?
I mean, it's all just the posts. That's what the posts are for. I don't have like a list.
Okay.
Because the list would be like 300 restaurants.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I think Partage is an excellent restaurant. 9-course dinner, $175. It would be easily $350 or $400 on the Strip. A really good bang for buck place is Shang Artisan Noodle. It's a Chinese hand-pulled noodles place focused on like beef noodle soup. And dishes are like $13. You easily get away with lunch and tip for less than $20 there. And that's a really popular place. And then I also I don't know if you've ever been, but Ferraro's is an old school Italian restaurant off the Strip.
Yeah, we just went. We just went. We were there like about 2-3 weeks ago when we were in town. Thought it was really good.
Yeah, Mimo Ferraro's a wizard, and the handmade pasta and all that stuff is just to die for.
Yeah, we had a good time there. The food was excellent. We went with a buddy of mine. He took us over there. He wanted to show us a nice dinner, and yeah, it was a real good night. What'd you think of that one, Big Kahuna?
No, it was exceptional. In the day, Phil, I'm going to throw this out at you. We're going back a number of years. The Bellagio had a dim sum place. Is that still around? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. I mean, the only Chinese-ish.
Yeah.
Oh no, well, there's Jasmine, which is the super high-end one, and then they have Noodles,
Yeah.
which is like
Oh, it's still
the
there?
spot. Yeah, it's still there.
And you know, the Prime Steakhouse is dynamite down on the water there. I mean, the food is great, and you know, obviously the ambiance where you could see the fountains going up. You know, the Prime high-end steakhouse at Bellagio is excellent as well.
Yeah, can't go wrong with any of the Fountain View restaurants, especially when you're bringing people from out of town. It's just such a Vegas moment to be out there dining and watching the fountains go off. And, you know, years later, I still love the Bellagio Fountain Show. I can't get enough of it. I think it's just classic Vegas.
I got to ask you another question or so, but what your audience right now, you're saying is more males asking you for different places to take dates?
Yeah, definitely asking for date recommendations.
Okay, is that how it started out, or has it changed you've seen over the last couple of years? You know, was it more females, obviously at the beginning, reaching out to you for suggestions, or, you know, where have you noticed like this turnaround, like in the last year or so?
Sure. I think around pre-2020, it was like 60-40 female audience, and now it's like 70-30 male. On my YouTube channel, I think I'm at like 85-15 male.
All right.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting how it's skewed that way. But yeah, I mean, it's cool.
I have a question.
If I can help someone have a better date, then good stuff.
I have a question for you, Phil. I know you're Las Vegas, Phil, and you do a lot of the Vegas stuff. Have you ever considered doing an extended tour where you're in another place for a couple of months or something like that, and doing restaurants in that town?
I mean, that would be a phenomenal idea, but a lot of my business is based in Sin City, so it'd be hard to be away for that long. The longest I've gone, I was in Japan for 3 weeks in July, and I did a lot of features on restaurants and things like that when I was there, and that was a really great experience. I used to live there. I lived there for 2 years.
Wow.
So I would definitely love to like live in Paris for like a month or London for a month and just do all that kind of stuff. And who knows, maybe down the road, that could be a possibility, but that would be very cool.
Cool.
Well, I got a good idea. The Big Kahuna and I are coming to Vegas in a month. I think you better start lining up some nice restaurants.
Definitely,
Like
yeah.
for the week that we come out there. So we're going to tag along with you and see a day in Phil's life. You know, going and checking out all these restaurants. Maybe you could show us some places on the outskirts and get us out of those hotels. Keep us a little busy checking out some restaurants locally.
I'd be happy to do it. If you guys haven't been off strip very much at all, I think you'd be blown away at the variety and the price and just how much stuff there is. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I want you to let our audience know where they can, you know, check you out and find you and follow you. So if you could give your information, your social media, whatever you want to give us on the show right now, we'll put it up, I guess, on the screen. You going to be able to do that, Ben? Not at this point? Okay. All right, we'll get it up there. You know, after the show, we'll put it up there for you. But if you could tell everyone where they could find you, that would be great, because we'd like them to, obviously, we must have a lot of our players that go out to Las Vegas, and they probably want to check out different situations as far as restaurants and things like that. So tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Las Vegas Phil on all the platforms. Las Vegas FILL on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X are primarily what I check out, what I post on almost daily. And yeah, if you get any questions about restaurants, feel free to DM me. I'm always happy to help. And it was a pleasure to be on here and talk about food with you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
It sounds exciting, and we look forward to when we come to Vegas. We are definitely going to reach out to you and see if we can get together with you and have a good lunch or dinner together. So thanks for coming on. We appreciate it, and you have a great weekend. And thanks again.
Yeah, you too.
And go Red Sox and go Celtics.
There you go.
Can't say go
Absolutely.
Patriots yet.
Well, Oh yeah, I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch the Dynasty after this to finish up that Apple TV thing, but I'm kind of worried about watching it.
Oh boy. All right. Well, have a great day. Thanks again for being
All
on.
right,
Thank you, Phil.
you guys. Thank you.
Well, that's interesting. I mean,
I'm hungry as hell.
the guys put it. Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm ready to run out of here and forget the show. You know.
Can we get a delivery, Ben?
Hey, you know that's pretty cool if you think about it. I mean, this guy's built a huge
Uber Eats.
Huh?
Uber Eats, man.
No, it's pretty cool that
Yeah.
he's built up a huge
Oh,
following.
it's a very interesting niche.
Well,
That's the beauty of social media, though.
Yeah.
You can kind of take what you like and what you love and kind of make either a career or a side career out of it.
well, we're going to go from one extreme to another extreme when it comes to. We just talked about food and Vegas and all these hotels, but I got my main man here who's been in this casino junket tours industry for over 40 years. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kenny Fromm from Fromm Tours. Kenny, how's it going, buddy?
Great. Everything's great. Thanks for having me on here today. I'm actually in business 41 years now.
Wow, you're doing it longer than we're doing the sports business.
Yeah, I started 41 years ago in 1982 out of my mother's basement in Brooklyn, New York.
I'll tell you, it's an exciting world you live in because you get to travel in all these great places. Whether you do cruises, you do casino trips, and you get to see a lot of great places all over the world in your industry.
Yes, so doing this over 41 years, we represent about 85 different casinos through Las Vegas, the Caribbean. We do all the cruise lines. Every cruise line out there is a big part of our business. Vegas, Atlantic City, Los Angeles, San Diego. And it's amazing how our clientele is from all over the country. We have clients from Europe and Mexico City, Canada.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's great about what you do is you can offer people so many different options to go to. You're not just offering them to go to one location. You can offer them to go to casinos anywhere really in the country or around the world on cruise boats. And the great thing about dealing with someone like Ken, who's so experienced at it, he can point you in the right directions where if you're not experienced at it, he can set you up and really make the trip a lot more pleasant and a lot easier for you. Things like that you bring to the table.
Right.
For players.
Yeah, you're correct about that. It's a seamless process where they, we make their reservations. We'll even assist them with flights if they want, limo pickup, show, dinner, massages. And it's one-stop shopping. We got them to do their credit lines online. So it's basically, I would call it like almost Neiman Marcus for gamblers. It's one-stop shopping.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, think about it. You're helping them put the trip together. I mean, especially, I'm sure, like a more qualified type of player. I mean, you're basically setting them up from A to Z. You're making it easy for them that they come to you. And, obviously, you put all the pieces together to make their experience a great experience, no?
Correct. And after doing this for 41 years, we built up a big following. We do a lot of mailings and clients from all over the country. I try to do at least one escorted trip a month where I take about, anywhere between 75 and 100 people. Mm-hmm. I just did a trip from Singapore to Hong Kong on a cruise ship recently. And, kind of the camaraderie, putting the people together. Gamblers like to be friends with other gamblers. And it's a very unique clientele. It's hard to say, hey, tell your neighbor, hey, I'm going to go out and blow, win $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000. But a gambler talking to a gambler,
yeah,
it's more camaraderie. They love the camaraderie.
Right, they can relate to each other.
Right.
It's like a little, what do I call it, like a community. Yeah, no, I think it's excellent. Matter of fact, when I first started many years ago as a player, I went with a junket rep, my first trips. So, he kind of put everything together for me. And then, they know what type of player you are from your experience. You build a rapport with these people so you kind of know exactly what they want, what they like. If they bring their families, they don't bring their families. So you can really tailor a nice trip for them. And like I said, make that experience a good experience. Have you ever been on a junket before?
Believe it or not, first time I went to Vegas, we'll talk in maybe 85. We went to the old Riv, and we went on some type of deal. We had to play X amount on the table, and there was like a little punch card. They would punch your card, and I think I got the room, and I think I got a meal. But the first time I went to Vegas, I was on a junket.
Carl Weiss was the guy who was running the Riviera. He was doing
It might have been.
It was called a gambling spree program.
It might
they
have
give you little chips.
It
They
might
give
have
you
been,
perks.
yeah. And we had to play like not that long, like a few hours a day. And back, I mean, that was a different world back then. But they gave me the room, and I think we got a dinner. We were playing craps. Me and my buddy thought we'd outsmart, and we were playing like opposites just to do the volume. But yeah, first time I was in Vegas, the old Riv, I was on a junket.
Yeah, it's funny. Back in the day, you know, a $25 green chip player was it was a big gamble back in 1982.
Right.
And today, you know, black chip is the minimum that we take today. You know, if you're under $100 minimum better, you chop liver today. You got
Can you explain that to the people? Like what type of qualifications it takes to kind of get the full gambit of
So the best bang for your dollar is cruise ships because everything's inclusive. You got a trip for 7 days, your food's covered, your beverages in the casino are covered. Whereas the same gambler, let's say $150 better for 3 hours a day on a cruise ship, 7-day cruise, he gets a comp balcony cabin between a $150 to $200 average bet. Now the same better that goes anywhere else in Vegas, he may only qualify for room because it depends on the theoretical that they generate.
Right.
So today, back in the day, we used to do only table game players. But today, a lot of my revenue is generated by slot players because slot players generate a high theoretical. Their hold and the percentage on slot players is a greater house advantage than a table game player.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy in this day and in this day and age. You know, with these casinos, I mean, a lot of them, you know, they're making so much money now with just the rooms, the food, the entertainment. I mean, they're kind of not really catering to the players like they once did at one point in time.
It's funny you say that. And back in the day, I was listening about the $2.99 special. You know, it's funny in Vegas right now. Probably back in the 80s, it was probably 80% was casino. Now it's 80% retail.
Right.
And you're right about that.
Yeah.
The gamble.
How does that work for you though? Like at the end of the day,
we don't make any money on retail, so the gambling, you have to be a high-level gambler to be able to get everything picked up for the room, food, and beverage in Vegas today. Whereas on a cruise ship, it's more liberal. It's easier to qualify than it would be in a Vegas property or Atlantic City or any other place.
So let's say, you know, just for argument's sake, let's say you're a $200 average player. You play 3 to 4 hours a day, you know, while you're on the cruise, obviously. I mean, can you expect everything to be basically comped?
Everything is
like that?
Yeah. So everything is, we pre-qualify our players up front. If somebody wants to come with me that's never used my services, they have to give me the host name and phone number. I verify their play. If they tell me they don't have a host, I tell them I can't service you because every gambler wants to be proud of his average bet in his time.
Right.
So
So they're saying it's 200, but they're only betting for 20 minutes.
Correct. So we verify their play, and once they are pre-qualified by myself, everything is comped up front. So that means there's no qualifications. When you go on a cruise, all your food is covered up front, and your alcoholic beverages are only in the casino. Naturally, they have cover charge restaurants, which you can pay if you like, but if you're higher in the floor, they'll comp that as well.
I have a question. So what if someone is new and they want to get into it and they don't have a host? Can they say, hey, look, I have this amount of money. I want to put it on a line of credit with the casino. Would that
So
replace?
so that's an interesting question. So on a first-time client, I would try to get them to go to Atlantic City, put them in a casino rate, let them qualify. If they go on a cruise or any other place the first time, they can't compliment the back end. In Atlantic City and Vegas, they could compliment the back end. So I tell them, get pre-qualified in a land-based casino first, because once you go on a cruise, if I give you a casino rate, a discounted rate, and the first time I see you play, now the next time I can comp you, but the first time I can't do it up front. But I could do it on a land-based.
You got to establish yourself a little bit so they feel comfortable. Listen, he's going out on the limb. If he's, you know, he's telling them that this player is this, and that, and he's nothing like that, it doesn't look good for you as well. So obviously you want to know your audience. Obviously you want to know they're people that are established. They played at other casinos. They have ratings. So this way it makes it a lot easier to put those deals together.
Correct. Most people are proud of their gambling history, and they're proud to tell me their average bet and their host.
Yeah, of course.
And where's the cutoff? Let's say a guy goes, well, 10 years ago, Kenny, I was a high roller. I mean, how long is the time period for a guy to qualify?
I will go back only to about 2019, pre-COVID.
All right.
If the guy hasn't gambled in 5 years, I'm not a risk taker at all. If he hasn't, no tiki, no washi. If he doesn't have a rated play within the last 2-3 years, then he's not a player anymore.
It's considered old.
And do the casinos ever hold against you, like if you do put someone in that doesn't do what they need them to do?
Good question. After doing this 41 years and sending away about 7,500 people a year, customers, once in a while, we get hit. Everybody takes a dent once in a while, but it happens. But we run about 98% accuracy with our decisions.
When they first legalized blackjack down here, probably, what was it, 2012, 10, 8?
Been about 10 years at least.
No, more than that.
Yeah.
15, 16.
The Hard Rock was comping. I mean, I would play $100 hand blackjack. And the Hard Rock and the other Seminole casino, the Coconut Creek, they were just comping everything. And, food, they would get you a room if you wanted to. And then all of a sudden, new management took over. Someone came in from Vegas, and they just stopped comping everything. So I don't know who was managing it before the Vegas people came in, but when the Vegas people came in, they clamped down.
Yeah, they have they have an audience where they have no competition, and they have to give nothing away right now. And I'm hoping the state of Florida eventually opens up. This will be bigger than Vegas ever was if the state of Florida ever got gaming.
Don't hold your breath on that one, man.
Let's dive. I've been holding this all
you
week.
can't hold Teddy back on
The
this.
state of Florida. Okay, when COVID first happened, I was loving the state of Florida because they were opening everything. No one else was open. I was like so proud to be. And now I see what they're doing. The Florida legislature has big business, the Seminole casinos, the medical marijuana dispensaries. They are in their pocket big time because they are making laws now to benefit the Hard Rock and the Seminoles. I mean, they banned DFS in Florida, which I have a lot of clients that were using Florida DFS. They banned DFS in Florida. Now, what does that mean? If you want to make a prop bet, if you want to make a player bet, you got to go to the Hard Rock. So Florida's making it very difficult for anyone to operate outside of the Seminoles.
Well, that's why he has locations all over the world. He's not depending on
he
Florida.
wants Florida to open up.
The reason why is they have monopoly on the whole thing, and
Right.
The state would make so much more money than the governor just giving that money away to the Indians.
Right.
It would open up more jobs. It would be bigger than Vegas ever was if the state of Florida had gaming.
Do you ever speak to attorneys, lobbyists that are trying to push for that?
I'm hearing down the road that eventually they're going to have casinos within a 5-mile radius of any Indian reservation. You have all the pari-mutuels, which are places that have horse tracks associated with them. So they have everything but table games.
Right.
Also, with simulated blackjack, but all slot machines. So it's so close, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's amazing that in this day and age that the Seminoles have just got a stranglehold on this. Like, unbelievable.
Only in America. It's amazing.
It's the only. I think we're the only state that has it like this, right?
It's great. The only state. Every other state has gaming now, and each one is. I think there's only 2 states in the whole United States that doesn't have gambling right now, and Texas is one of them. They're going to be opening gaming there soon as well.
They just passed sports betting in North Carolina.
North Carolina, March 11th, it went live.
live.
I have a question also. So, obviously, online sports betting is now in 30 states, and they're trying to push iGaming now. So all the states that have sports betting, they want you to be able to go on. Do you think that's going to affect the tourism market at all? If let's just pretend every state had fully legal online sports betting and casino gaming, do you think that would affect the tourism market at all?
I don't think it affected it at all. I think people are going to go gamble. Just like people go out to dinner every night, it's not going to affect it at all. And it's just funny. I got people that take cruise ships out of Florida. They go to the Hard Rock, but they're still going on cruise ships that live in Miami. They go out of Miami on cruise ships. So I don't think it affected it at all.
Look at Vegas, booming more than ever, and you got sports betting now. People are still going to Vegas.
Yeah,
So you can't.
Vegas is booming.
You're sitting in your living room versus going to Vegas. You can't compare.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you one quick thing real fast.
ahead.
I've been doing this 41 years. People say I'm praying for a major recession. And the reason why is right now the casinos don't have to give as much away because they're charging top dollar for rooms,
sure.
and they're getting away with it.
Yeah.
So they don't need to give as much comp as they used to.
Right.
But when times are rough, then they have to give more away.
Then you see the discounts and they're sending you all the brochures to come in, 3 days, all these offers. Yeah, it was crazy. Matter of fact, Super Bowl weekend, a regular room at the Wynn, $3,000 for a regular room. And you probably couldn't even get it because it was probably sold out anyways. But $3,000 plus, I'm sure the food, everything else, it just skyrocketed. I don't know where all this money comes from that these people can afford, to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for a weekend.
And it's funny you say that. In the retail market right now, you're saying, kids come in for a 3-night stay, they're going to drop about $30,000. They don't have to take care of a gamble. Between having the day spa bed outside, the nightclub at night, $5,000 for the table every night, $5,000 for the cabana in the afternoon.
Right.
Dinner is a nickel for 2 people to eat dinner. It's $500 a head.
I should have held on to my Bitcoin, Kenny.
Right?
That's where a lot of it is coming from. You'd be surprised. And other places, which we're not going to discuss here. But
I'm curious, like the average customer of yours, how many times a year do they go away with you on average?
On
Like
average-
an average
On
plug?
average, probably 5 to 7 times.
That much?
Yeah. Some people even travel once a month, but average 5 to 7 times at least, because whether they go to Atlantic City once a month or, probably 7 to 9 times a year.
So they go pretty regularly
Yeah,
then.
pretty regularly.
What would you say the average age of your client is?
You know what? From age 23 to 89, there's nothing really. And male, female,
Blind, crippled, or crazy.
Blind, crippled, crazy. In every walk of life, it's amazing.
Yeah. Hey,
know,
listen.
and is land-based or cruises which is more popular?
I'd say right now it's 50-50. Back in the day, it was more, land-based, but now maybe 60-40. Cruises have become a big thing now, and they're giving good odds on the dice table. Back in the day, it was only single odds. Most cruises are giving 3, 4, 5 times odds. They're giving big limits today, not like the old days.
Yeah, do you remember when they changed in Vegas the crap odds? They went to like 2 to 1 instead of 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, I remember that.
Oh, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. They were like double odds for
Yeah,
a while. That went away real fast.
Right. And then even on back in the day, casinos on the ships only had a $200 maximum bet. Today, a lot of ships are giving you from 100 to 2,000, 200 to 3,000, or 300 to 5,000 per bet, up to 3 spots on blackjack.
I got a question on that. What determines that? The credit line?
The credit line, correct? But anybody off the street from 100 to 2,000.
That's where you come into play for me as a player.
Correct.
You're going to set me up based on what the risk money I want to put up and try to get the best limits for me if I want to play stronger.
Correct. Those, they're not as aggressive on really the whales.
For the average person, right?
But for the average person. But we'll send you the link to do the credit. Back in the day, we were able to take the credit and do it manually or text them the information or email. But today, with all the laws and everything, we have to send them a link to set their credit line up. Or they could do a wire transfer as well.
Now, what takes it to get full max odds? What kind of credit line do you need on a cruise ship? Because I know in Vegas, in order to get reserve games, you got to put up $1 million and stuff like that.
On a cruise ship, unfortunately, they won't reserve a table. There's not enough games.
The higher limits I meant.
Oh, higher limits. So, somebody with a $200,000 credit line is where they break to maybe $10,000 a hand on blackjack, 3 spots.
Okay.
But anything under 200, they're going to keep. But they won't go any higher than 10,000 would be the max, on
that's a
most
lot.
cruise ships.
That's
3 spots.
That's pretty good.
But that's only after they were there established once before. But the first time in, they'll give 3 spots of 5,000.
So do they pay for the trip up front, and then depending on play,
Well, that's what he
they
does.
get reimbursed?
No.
How does it actually work?
I pre-qualify them ahead of time.
Right.
And based on everybody's a different character. So somebody might qualify for a room, but he wants to upgrade to a suite. I'll comp him the room, and he can pay the upgrade to a suite. You might qualify for a suite, and I'll comp the suite up front. But there's a dollar amount associated. So depending on when you travel, it's a high rent district. If it's New Year's, that room rate's going to be double what it normally would be the month before.
And that all can be adjusted at the end of the trip. If the guy has a bad trip and he's putting in the time and the averages, you're gonna reimburse him basically.
Right. He won't get reimbursed on the trip. On his next trip in, they'll give him better, a bigger room. Maybe they'll give him some free play or something, but they'll offer him a bigger suite next time.
All right. That's interesting, man. I'll tell you, there's so many things out there. There's so many moving parts when it comes to, cruises, casinos, gambling, getting the best deals and so forth. This is what Ken's all about. I mean, he's been doing this for 41 years. He knows his business as good as anyone. I'm curious. It seems like the type of business is probably only a few standing, right, in your industry.
It's funny.
Test of time.
Back in the day, everybody was one-man or two-man operation. We have 15 people working in my office in Jupiter, and I moved my operation down here going on 20 years in April. And most people, again, are one-man, two-man operations, and we've run a full-blown operation. And people say, how do you make a living at it? You know what? We have all sophisticated equipment, and, we always have to stay innovative and always getting brand new software and equipment. And
Yeah,
It's
stay
a
on
big
top of it.
operation.
Yeah. Guys, let me tell you something. A guy like Ken can make your trip a lot more pleasant than you trying to put all the pieces together. Trust me, I'm a player, and I've been a big player for a long time, and I've done it myself. I've gone through people like Ken, and they know all the ins and outs. They know how to negotiate with these casinos. They know the things that they want to hear. So you get that added edge when it comes to getting these perks and things like that, and making your trip a lot easier than you trying to, fight with them left and right, doing it on your own. So it's definitely a plus to have someone like Ken and his team that can really make that experience, as I said, a lot more pleasant. I feel.
Yeah, no, it's a customer service business. People, gamblers want to talk to somebody. Back in the day, we used to use travel agents, and you got to speak to a live person. I would pay extra to use a travel agent today. Today, you talk to a machine. When you call a doctor, you push one for this, two for that.
Oh, yeah.
When you call my office, there's 15 agents. 6 days a week we're open. You're going to reach a live person that speaks English and is going to communicate with you and fill your needs of what you want. And they'll tell you what to do, Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean. Whatever you want, we're going to point in the right direction.
Well, we appreciate it. Listen, it was great having you on the show. I was looking to have you come on for quite a long time. I want our audience to know exactly how they can find you, if you could give your information to them so they could check you out. Guys, let me tell you something. He handles cruises all over the world. If you want to go on a nice vacation and you're a player and you're looking for some added things, you should contact this gentleman. He can put you in the right places, has licenses with casinos all over the United States, I guess all over the world, right?
Over the world, yes.
So, I mean, if instead of you trying to figure it out on your own, go use Ken as someone that could give you that advice and put you into, a nice vacation and enjoy it. That's the best advice I could say. But if you could give your information, we appreciate it.
Yes, my my web address is www.kenfrommtours.com. So Ken at KenFrommTours.com. You can find me on Facebook and all social media.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Ken, and we want to definitely check in with you later on down the road, bring you back on here, tell us some of the updated things going on, maybe in the cruise industry and in the casino business. So we definitely want to keep in touch with you, and I think I want to go on a cruise with you. That's what I think. What do you think?
Definitely. 100%.
I think the Big Kahuna can get us.
Yeah, we'll hook you guys up. And one other thing I want to add also is that when there's special events and tournaments, there's tournaments all around the country, whether it's a golf event, so we will contact our clients that like these different events. That we had just Bocelli in Yamava in Los Angeles, and whether it's a baccarat tournament or a slot tournament, and each client that qualifies we will notify them, and they're happy to get notifications.
They like that, the players. I know a lot of players, friends of mine that are big players. They love just going in these tournaments, trying to get a free ride at picking up a couple $100,000 here and there on these tournaments that the casinos offer. Yeah, that's a great angle. Well, again, guys, you heard it. Kenny's the man, and we appreciate him being on here. And contact him if you're thinking about going to any casino around the country or cruises and stuff like that. Reach out to him, and I'm sure he can point you in the right direction. Thanks again, Ken.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great afternoon, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Well, I'll tell you, interesting show, guys.
Really cool stuff.
One of the best shows, I think.
Yeah, we had to do something different because, there's the college basketball games tomorrow. We don't even know what they're going to be yet because we're waiting for today's games to finish before we move on to that.
Sometimes it's not about picks.
Sometimes it's not about picks.
But selection Sunday, but we'll be back Monday.
We're coming back.
We're going to get right into it. We'll know exactly the matchups and everything.
How about the NFL? They haven't slowed down a bit.
Oh,
all
man.
These trades and
who's
Aaron Donald just
I think
retired.
my favorite, I think what's going to be so interesting is Derrick Henry on the Ravens.
Yeah, that's a good play.
I think that's going to be interesting. And then the Chargers, poor Justin Herbert, they're getting rid of they're fire selling everybody.
Yeah.
They get rid of their running back, their two wide receivers.
Yep. I saw Allen just left, right?
Allen and Mike Williams left.
Philadelphia made a couple of nice moves. They got Barkley. I think that's going to be a pretty good move. That's definitely going to help Hurts having Barkley.
Yeah, I think Hurts having Barkley and Lamar Jackson having Derrick Henry are, to me, two of the most interesting moves because they really improved that backfield on both teams. And then the other thing, like I said, Harbaugh's doing some crazy stuff in with the Chargers. I'm very interested to see.
Let's see
how
what
it
happens
pans
there.
out.
I don't know. You know, he was under the spotlight at Michigan. He went to the Chargers. Let's see what he can do. But there's going to be a lot of competition.
Still Chiefs Niners 1-2 favorite though.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of food places, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are opening up a Kansas City steakhouse. They're going to call it 1587 Steakhouse.
1587. Yeah, there you go. Both their
1587
numbers.
Steakhouse. So it's going to be interesting. And Kansas, it's not, the food capital of the world, but it is known for steak because there's a lot of cows in Kansas.
Let me tell you something. just those two guys behind it, that place will be slamming and
It'll do
jamming.
fine. Yeah.
What's the odds Taylor Swift shows up at grand opening? Huh? She going to be wearing red lipstick?
Well, we got to bring Edgar
yeah,
back.
well,
He
that's
can
a whole
tell
nother
us.
story. Yeah.
Forget about the red lipstick. She was going to wear the red lipstick every time.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about the red lipstick.
right.
Anything you want to add before we go?
No, we'll be back Monday, and like I said, we'll know exactly all the matchups, the 64 teams, and a couple of just quick things here. The number one seed right now, Purdue is in at 7-1, UConn is in at 5-1, Houston's I think 8-1, North Carolina's 18-1. Second seed, you got Tennessee, Arizona, Marquette, Iowa State.
Tennessee lost today.
Yeah, but they're already locked in, these teams.
I think
that I'm
North
going over.
Carolina jumped them as a number one seed now.
Yeah, but it's going to be a great tournament. I mean, it's
Duke got knocked out too. In the conference round,
Yeah.
first day.
it fell apart, minus 10.5. What?
I told you guys. Well, you
Ridiculous.
tell me wasn't it? But I told you anybody on any given day can win in these games. I mean,
course.
these dogs are alive. I mean,
Especially in these conference tournaments. They
Yeah.
get crazy.
How about Pittsburgh yesterday? I put them out at 7.5 over Wake.
Yep, they beat them, and now they're playing North Carolina tonight.
I'm using them again tonight, plus 7.5.
Well, we got a lot of guys. Let me tell you something. We got a lot of good stuff coming up there in the month of March, going into April. You got baseball right around the corner. You got the NFL playoffs. NBA playoffs coming up. You got the NHL playoffs coming up. You got this March Madness this tournament starting next week. So a lot of good things going on. We're excited about it. We're going to be doing whatever we can to focus on some games, give you guys the best advice we can. We're going to be back next week with our show.
Monday.
Which one?
Monday.
Monday. That's right. We're going to do a
Scotty didn't even know.
See?
I didn't even know. You guys just telling me things.
We
like
booked the
out of-
schedule. We just
Yeah,
tell Scotty
Monday.
when. Yeah, we're going to be back Monday. So Selection Sunday is Sunday. The games will all be laid out. We'll come in Monday, break down Thursday and Friday.
All right, Big Kahuna, tell the people where they can find you and get all that winning information you have been putting out pretty damn steadily on your free plays and all that content on a daily basis.
They could find me at this Thai restaurant in 10 minutes after the show. But besides that, Instagram.
Can't get them away from that joint.
My Instagram, I've been on fire at OSB_sports. YouTube, OSB-sports. And check out the website. We do have that odds comparison feed up there. You want to shop numbers, onlinesportsbet.com.
Are you still hitting 72% on these free plays, Teddy?
So our whole thing was we wanted to track our first 100 plays of 2024 to see where we ended up. We've gone through 98 so far.
All right.
We're 65, 31, and 2 through 98 games. We got 2 games left, including one tonight. Go on the Instagram and check it out. Instagram at _profits_pick, no S. TikTok took my link away, and now they might. What are you going to do, Scotty, if TikTok gets banned?
I'm going to work for you.
What are you going to do if TikTok gets banned? But anyway,
I think it's a squeeze deal. Someone's going to come in and buy it out. And
somebody.
no way it gets banned. It would upset. First of all, the overreach is insane. Trying to ban TikTok, banning DFS. Now they're trying to ban hemp in Florida.
We might have to pull up and buy TikTok.
I'm just
Keep
not
that thing
happy
going.
with these people right now. But anyway, youtube.com/@thesportsprofit/videos to go right to the most recent video.
All right, you heard
Take
it,
care,
guys.
guys.
You heard it. There's some good winning going on. I'm Scott Matthews. I'm the host of this great show, the OSB Sports Podcast. Our show is up everywhere on all podcast forums, you name it, from YouTube to Spotify to Apple. Check it all out. I want to thank the 2 great guests I had, my man Kenny Fromm from Fromm Tours, Kenny Fromm Tours. Check him out. He's the man. If you want to go on a trip and you're a player or whatever you want, or you want to start to be a player, reach out to Kenny. He'll set you up and get you moving in the right direction. And also I want to thank Phil, the food blogger from Las Vegas. We appreciate the insights you put on. Check our show, like I said, each and every week. We're up all the time. And I'm Scott Matthews. As I said, you could reach me on TikTok at SMPicks, P-I-C-K-S, and also on Instagram, SM Sports Picks. We will be back here next week. We're excited. The tournament's coming. We'll be here on Monday. Man, I was all over